everyone. Welcome to Listeners Beware, a podcast about all things Goosebumps. My name is Gary.
And I'm Ashley.
And today we are talking about book number 5.
The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb.
Love it. So
now, who is this book by, Gary?
By R.L. Stine.
Oh, wonderful. And what is it about?
It's about a mummy. Sort of. The plot synopsis for this is, something dead has been here. Gabe just got lost in a pyramid. 1 minute, his crazy cousin Sari was right ahead of him in the pyramid tunnel. The next minute, she'd disappeared. But Gabe isn't alone. Someone else is in the pyramid too. Someone or something. Gabe doesn't believe in the curse of the mummy's tomb, but that doesn't mean the curse isn't real, does it?
So I have a question about that. We're already starting with questions.
Yeah,
here we go. Off we go. So it says someone or something. But is someone, does that only count if you're a person that's still alive? Because it used to be a person, right? Mummies used to be people.
That's true.
And they're reanimated. Or one might argue maybe they're re-alive. And so my question is, wouldn't they still be someone's?
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I would think so. That's a fair question. I mean, zombies are people too, so mummies can be, right?
I mean, I think they're someone's. Mummies are people too.
Yes.
Can we just let's protest that one? I think mummies and zombies can be people's too. They could be someone's.
Yeah,
They were once alive. They're alive again or animated.
I'm with you. Yeah, 100%. And this is totally your cup of tea, right? Because you were very big into Egypt and mummies at one point.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, I loved it. Growing up, I was that weird little kid in the library. Yeah, kids, we used to go to libraries and not Google. And I was the weird kid in the library that was just soaking it up, finding the books that I could about Egyptian, lore and hieroglyphics. No, I cannot read them, but it was so fascinating to look at. And I feel like at some point, all of us, when we took Egyptian history and, the basic rudimentary in elementary, they'd give you a few of the symbols and it's write your name in the symbols. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't translate that way, but we all did it, I assume. And so I had a blast with that. I would take that paper home and I'd write a whole paragraph in those things. And again, not sure it actually translates. You probably hand that to an Egyptian person and they're like, what?
That's awesome. I don't think my school did that. I feel like I missed a whole Egyptian class.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. We covered it in history, but it wasn't a huge part of it. I also went to a Christian school, so maybe they don't believe in mummies. I don't know.
That might be why, because, Egyptians had lots of gods.
Right.
So they probably were get through that as fast as possible. Here's Cleopatra, on to the next.
Yep. Yep. The cliff notes of history. The Christ notes?
We're just going to skim over that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So needless to say, I don't have nearly as much knowledge or experience with mummy culture as perhaps you do, but
I was super into archaeology too. So little fun fact, I went to this gifted school. That sounded so cocky. It's not meant to be. But the reason I talk about the gifted schools is because they taught us subjects that you wouldn't normally learn in those grades. So in 3rd grade, I actually took an archaeology class, or maybe it was 4th grade. And we actually learned the proper methods for archaeology. So
Wow.
How to do a dig. And we did a mini dig, they set up a mini dig in the back, lot of dirt. And it literally was centimeter by centimeter. We had to dig and we had to measure and we had to grid. And it was a thing.
That's amazing.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
I was a dork and I loved it. And so pair that with the Egyptian stuff that I learned. I was just I was all in. I'm mummies, cool. They took their brains out. How? Wow. That's probably frowned upon nowadays, but it's pretty cool then.
Yeah, for sure. I think if we're talking ancient dead things, I was more into paleontology and dinosaurs and such. Just your typical boy.
Dead things. I mean, they're preserved too.
Mm-hmm.
They were preserved in their own way, the fossils. So
I've read some books on paleontology, but I can't say I've ever really dove too deep into this outside of, mummy movies and such. So,
There is this paleontologist slash geologist, Charles Towns, and he is, well, Dr. Charles Towns.
Mm.
And back in the day, he was the one that discovered that it was an asteroid that impacted the Earth. And that's kind of what happened to a lot of the dinosaurs. He did that through discovering the rock layers.
Huh.
So what he did is he found, I'm a total nerd, he found that the dinosaur fossils were super present, like in one, layer.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 layers up, they were gone. And it's like, what happened? Where'd they go in that time frame? And so he started studying the layer in between to figure out what's different, which, smart guy. And he was studying the soil samples and the rock samples to see what was it comprised of. And he discovered within that sample, and I think he did this with his son, but this was predominantly him.
Right.
And he discovered in the sample that there was a material in there that is found on meteors and asteroids and not natural to Earth.
Wow.
And there was a large amount of it. And so, he used his smart science brain to extrapolate, wow, if there's a large amount in this, and then the dinosaurs are gone.
That's wild.
You're like, Ashley, you are such a nerd.
I dig it. I'm not complaining. This is honestly, this might be more interesting to me than this book was, but we'll get into it.
I mean, it was pretty cool. I'm trying to remember. I think it was iridium is what he found. It's called the iridium layer. And I'm so wrong. It wasn't Talons. It was Luis Alvarez. So there's two wards that are studied in Cub Scouts, and they get supernova medals for each one. One of them is the Dr. Luis Alvarez Award and the Dr. Towns Award. And I was trying to remember which one it was. It's actually Dr. Alvarez that did that. My bad. Let's put our thing down, flip it, and reverse it. So there was this Dr. Luis Alvarez.
Yes.
And his son, geologist Walter Alvarez.
You flipped it down and reversed to NPR, I think.
Charles Towns, I believe, was the one that came up with the maser and the laser. So there you go. So any kids, do your research. Don't listen to people on the internet for your information, because they can get it wrong and then they have to put their thing down, flip it, and reverse it. So
right. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll mix my 2 amazing doctors up. But I still got how they did it right.
Right.
And it was the iridium layer. So there you go. Iridium is found on asteroids and meteors.
Excellent.
Yeah. So fun fact. That's how we discovered what happened to the dinosaurs. And by we, I mean the awesome, cool Dr. Luis Alvarez. See, I fixed it again.
Yes.
Anyways, back to the Curse of the Mummy's tomb.
Yes. Or to it for the first time. Have we talked about it yet? The book.
You gave the synopsis.
Yeah,
what is a someone
it.
or something?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So this is about Gabe. Gabe's our hero in this one, and his cousin's Sorry, and Uncle Ben.
All the pranks she plays. She's so wrong. She's sorry. Just kidding. She's not sorry.
Yeah, you're right. She's not.
I'm going to get in trouble.
She's mean. But
she's mean. She is mean, actually.
It sticks to the theory that you presented last episode of the secondary character always being kind of a turd.
Yeah. And in this case, we have the bully is also the sibling, or not the sibling, but the relative.
Yeah.
So usually the relatives stick together and they're close and they stick up for each other. There's a secondary friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, there really isn't. His secondary other kid is also she's a jerk.
Yeah. Yeah. So this one takes place at Christmas time, Christmas vacation in Egypt.
This is a dark Christmas theme. I like it.
Yep. Yep. Very, very minor part of the book, but it is mentioned.
I mean, The thing I love about this one, when we did the monster blood book, the
Mhm.
parents just up and leave him,
Yeah.
like with a relative he doesn't even know, right? It's
Right.
just like, peace, you gotta stay here, bye. And in this case, parents are going away on business again. This time he's being left in, another country, but they gave him a choice. It wasn't like just peace out, have fun Christmas by yourself with, your uncle and the cousin that you really don't like. It was, hey, there's this thing that came up for business. We got to go. And he's like, wait. I want to stay with Uncle Ben. And he threw a fit. I think he even referenced like holding his breath. Like he literally threw a fit.
Yeah.
I love that the parents knew he didn't like Sorry, because they're like, but okay, cool, fine. But just so you know, Sorry is here. And he's like, oh, dang it.
Right.
All right. The pyramids trump Sorry, but only barely just a little bit.
Yeah. And I get that.
Let's just talk about how they already at the beginning present him as being kind of a brat. He's obnoxious because he wants water. Like, forget that the glorious pyramids are in front of him.
Right.
Like, he is at the pyramids with his parents, and it's amazing. It's fantastic. His father's trying to impart knowledge, which as kids, we give zero what's about that. But at least you think he'd be like, wow, that's cool. And instead he's like, I want water. And that's all he can focus on. He's hyper focused on, I'm dying.
Right.
I'm literally dying. I need water. And they're like, could you just appreciate this? And he's not having it. He wants water. And then he fat shames his dad. So we're introduced to him early on as being kind of a jerk.
Right. So maybe Sorry isn't that bad. Maybe he's the villain the whole time.
Maybe she's his just desserts, like his karma,
Karmic retribution in the form of cousin.
Because he even says it. Like, he totally says that my dad is self-conscious about his weight, so I make sure to extra get him for that. It's like, what? Yeah. Your dad feels awful about that, and you pick on him for it.
That's such a 90s brat mentality.
Yeah, totally privileged child. You're at the pyramids and you're fat shaming your dad.
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's pretty weird.
Gabe's a dick, so I said it.
Cosigned.
So, yeah, right? So Sorry is just his karma.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to say that. Okay, so then parents leave. He's with Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And Sorry.
The Uncle Ben where things don't go bad for him.
And this isn't Uncle Ben like Spider-Man. This is Uncle Ben archaeologist, badass archaeologist, like discovering hidden chambers.
I wouldn't even call him Uncle Ben. I'd call him Archaeologist Ben.
Archaeologist Ben.
Presumably.
Badass archaeologist Ben.
Presumably Dr. Uncle Ben.
Dr. Uncle Ben.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So I am impressed that Uncle Ben is like, sure, stay, child. And I'm going to take you into these restricted areas of this pyramid and kind of leave you unattended.
That's a cool ass uncle. I mean, reckless.
But highly irresponsible.
Yeah. Reckless, but cool.
Here we have again, reckless, irresponsible relatives, adult figures.
Right.
There's a theme here.
Yeah, I'm beginning to suspect that RL had just no authority in his life growing up.
He was left to his own devices, which at that time we were.
Yeah.
Like, we were the kids running outdoors and going on explorations and living in our imaginations, or a good portion of kids were. And so it's just like, you don't look back at it and think, oh, I was such a poor, neglected child. Instead, you're like, man, I went on wicked explorations. Long live the Goonies.
Right.
So we're introduced early on that he constantly cannot tie his shoes. For being an 11, 12-year-old. He doesn't know how to keep his shoes tied. So that becomes foreshadowing. And he and Sorry take off because she's a troublemaker, as one is at that age. Yep. And is like, let's get into shenanigans. My dad's not looking. And they go take off into tunnels. Mm-hmm. And of course, he has to tie a shoe. He can't find her. And pranks ensue.
Prank number one of,
many. Prank number one of many.
Each chapter break, really.
Because she hides,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the first prank is there's like that cool room with a mummy tomb and she's hiding in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, of course, Uncle Ben comes in yelling at them right afterwards.
Well, I mean, kind of unjustifiably so. I mean, he did like say, you know, do your thing.
I mean, technically, he said don't go exploring because you can
Yeah.
get lost in these tunnels and be lost like forever. And there they go, taking off in the tunnels when he's got his back turned because the other archaeologist team, they've like made some discovery. So he's like, ooh, squirrel. And then off they go. And luckily, he found them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't lost in the tunnels forever. But Uncle Ben's kind of a dick too. And we see where Sari gets it from because he
Right.
yells at them, but then she tells him about the prank and he starts laughing.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's a family of dicks, basically.
I don't even know what to say to that. It's a dick den. So
Pack of dicks.
this episode is NSFW and not for children.
No.
And we're gonna start calling it NFC, not for children.
Not for children.
Not for children.
If you read this in its original run, you can listen.
All right. It means you're old enough.
Right.
So then, like, I love how we pop to the next day, and Ben's got to call. All the archaeologists are sick. And
Right.
it's just like, what happened? Is it the curse? Oh, no. What I love is he leaves the kids.
Yep.
So here we are. Negligent adult left the kids.
Yeah.
Like, chill in this hotel. Don't leave. Like, they didn't listen to you yesterday, bro.
Exactly.
And took off in the tunnels of endless, like, supply. But they're going to listen to you today?
Exactly. Yeah, not going to happen. So they then go to the nearby museum, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's like semi-responsible breaking the rules.
We went to an educational place.
We disobeyed you to learn more.
And is it Sari that convinces him to go? Like, she's basically calling him a baby. And so they leave the hotel and go to the museum.
I think so.
She kind of eggs him on, right?
He suggests it, I believe, and then she, of course, forces his hand.
Right. She's like, yeah, we'll see if you actually do it. So they go to the museum. Mind you, they're in a different country where they don't speak the language.
Right.
And they take off on their own.
Brave kids.
It's one word to use.
Stupid?
Stupid.
Yeah.
Naive. Yeah, it's all the things. So they go to the museum, they wander around, and lo and behold, who do they see? They see Ahmed from Ben's team.
Yes, Ahmed. The semi-scary, unpredictable.
He's got like this menacing vibe about him. Obviously, he watches the kids in a weird way that could be trafficking or otherwise. Like, you don't know what Ahmed's about, but you know that there's something weird going on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe they try to get away from him, but they're fast, but Ahmed's faster.
Ooh, as adults usually are.
It's true. Longer legs, clear more space easily.
And once again, our naive kids do what? They go where they're not supposed to go, and they go in Ahmed's vehicle. So we're getting into strangers' cars. It's like the thing that people, like, they warn us about. This book, I feel like, is trying to get in kids' heads so they listen to their parents. Like, hey, kids, don't go with strangers. When they're like, your mom sent me for you. You should get in the car.
Right.
Literally, Ahmed's like, Ben sent me for you guys. Come get in the car. And they do.
Yep.
He's just like, yeah, I'll take you back to the hotel.
But then.
But then.
They don't go. They don't go to the hotel. So Gabe gets the idea that they're being kidnapped, which probably should have got that when he looked at you weird the first time. But, lesson learned.
And says, your Uncle Ben sent me.
Right.
I like that the kids are ballsy.
Yeah, they are. They are. I really like this whole sequence because this is sort of R.L. Stine doing an adventure sequence, right? Like there's not often car kidnapping. Well, Jesus, there's no good way to say that. But I mean, there's not a lot of action sequences like this in his books that aren't supernatural.
Not too many good child kidnapping scenes in there.
Yeah. Do better, RL. No.
Do better.
So they get out of the car and they run to a cab, which this scene was very fun. And funny, I thought, because they're getting in the car, they're freaking out. They're like, "Hey, we need to get back to our hotel. We need to get back to our hotel." And he just kind of goes like, "That hotel?" Points
It's across the street. I like that hotel.
Yeah. That's how I perceived it in my head.
I mean, that's literally how it was rolled out.
Yeah,
like that one right there. Oh,
Right.
Oh yeah. Oops. I do like that for the first time in all of this, they actually do something responsible and they go to the room and lock the door to wait
Yes.
for Uncle Ben. And they do what a lot of the kids in the other books haven't done up until this point. As soon as Ben gets there, they tell him what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's real world. Like they didn't hide it from them. And I think RL made a good choice in that moment because I mean, if they had done what had happened up until recently in these books where the kids keep it from the adults, that, kids are reading this, that may look like promoting one choice over another. Like,
Right.
don't tell your parents if an adult's trying to do bad things to you. So I
Yeah.
do like that in this case, he was very specific with as soon as Uncle Ben came home,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Archaeologist Uncle Ben, they told him, dude, your coworker tried to kidnap us. So
Yes. Yeah. And Uncle Ben behaves in a way that is actually responsible for an adult in this book and says, "Well, you're coming with me. We're going back to the pyramid and you're coming with me."
Except, is that responsible?
Well, I don't know. After yes, what is the right answer here?
Well, honestly, okay. His coworker Ahmed is on the loose. They don't know where he is, and you're gonna take these kids into tunnels again, underground
Yeah.
tunnels where your coworker knows and is familiar with, has been working. You don't know where he is. Like, I think the responsible choice would have been, you know what, we're gonna lock down the pyramids for now. Report this to the authorities, and
Yeah.
you kids are gonna be under lockdown till we find Ahmed and figure out why he tried to kidnap you.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call.
In my opinion. I mean, to your
Right.
point, he did keep the kids with him ish, but taking them to a labyrinth of endless tunnels, I don't know if that was the best choice.
Right.
Obviously, I mean, we see what happened.
Yeah. Well, given his squirrel mentality, it's not easy to believe that they could slip away pretty easily. So
His squirrel mentality. I do like that he put trackers on them, though. He's like,
Yeah.
take this tracker, wear it.
Right. Were trackers that big of a thing back in the 90s? Like, where did Uncle Ben find these? That's what I'm curious about.
Uncle Ben was a spy.
That's
Okay? He was Dr. Archaeologist Uncle Ben the Spy, the third.
the third
007.
Esquire.
He had all sorts of gadgets that really weren't as popular then.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Because let's be real, archaeologist digs and stuff, they don't always, especially back then, they were working with like the best they could get, but that stuff wasn't well funded.
Mm-mm.
Even with the pyramids, like they had some pretty tight budgets. So a lot of archaeologist digs use volunteers
Right.
to help dig with like lead archaeologists heading it up, spearheading it. And so would Uncle Ben really have trackers? Maybe if he were a spy.
I buy it.
You know, Ben, they never gave us his last name. I'd just like to put that out there.
Redacted.
Ben Bond.
Ben
007.
Bond.
Okay, so then once again,
Yep.
our little Gabe, who can't tie his shoelaces, stops to tie his shoes. And of course, negligent Ben and jerky sorry, they don't even care. They
Nope.
just keep walking. Like, they don't check to see. This guy has tried to kidnap them, and they're in these tunnels, and they are really not making an effort to keep track of one another. Like, they just keep on going on talking, lose Gabe.
Right. Right. Ben's like, oh, he's got a tracker. He'll find us. No.
Doop-a-doo. No.
No, not
Like,
at all.
he bends down. He's like, guys, wait. Guys, wait. And they're already gone. Like, dust in the wind, man. They are gone. They don't even care.
Nope.
They're like, bye, Gabe.
Yep. Yeah, so Gabe starts to wander around trying to find them, and then he winds up on the part of this book that I would like to experience where the floor cracks beneath him and he slides down this huge slide and lands in a big room.
Ooh. It's a really good thing that he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Like, the floor literally caved out from underneath him, and he fell like a full room length.
Mm-hmm.
At least room length down on these rocks and flooring and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'm cool. Although, what did not survive the fall?
The tracker.
The tracker. Of course.
All right.
So, tracker's broken. He's in this empty room of awesomeness. And what does he find, Gary? It's a mummification room.
Mummification
How
chamber.
epic. I mean, could you imagine being a kid falling into a mummification room? I would be like the nerd that's like, oh my effing word, this is amazing. Look, I edited my mouth. Woohoo! Like, that would be so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like you're a mummy.
Right.
Or someone who's about to be mummified. Or are you?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like you're around all this really cool stuff. I'd be like, ooh, what's this? And just touching everything you're not supposed to.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that reads. I given your love of the lore, I would be in the room like, what is this stuff?
I'm scared.
I'm a little nervous.
Now, the thing I like is that Uncle Ben didn't lose just one child. He lost two because, moments later, Sari appears and she's like, I got lost too. Uncle Ben is not good at keeping track of kids.
He is not. I hope he's a better archaeologist than he is a babysitter.
He's got sweet spy tools, so I think he probably is.
Yeah, yeah. He's wearing too many hats. He can't add babysitter to it.
You mean father? He is Sari's father.
Oh, yeah.
He can't even keep track of his kid. He's like, guys, this is a perilous situation. We have to stick together. And then I'm lost. They're all lost. He lost all the ducks. It reminds me of like Lilo and Stitch. Just Stitch. I'm lost.
Absolutely.
But at least they have Sari's tracker, right?
Yes.
So at that point, then they can press her tracker and they see a light. And for me, I'm like, kids, that was too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Too soon from when you press a tracker to a light. That is not your daddy. I'm not your papa. But who is it?
Once again, it's Ahmed.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. See what I did there?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. So it's Ahmed.
Bad guy Ahmed.
And he's pissed because he's like, I warned everybody about the curse, but nobody listened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was around this time that I was beginning to wonder, what is Ahmed's deal? Is he really a bad guy? Is he... I don't know.
After reading this book, jury's still out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's totally fair. And I kind of agree with you.
Because we learn a little bit more about Ahmed's backstory. Yes, he caused all the workers to be sick. Yes, he's trying to keep people out of the tomb, or the pyramid, but for like a very specific reason.
Mm-hmm.
His family and his line has vowed an oath to keep people away for the Egyptian princess named Kala. Now, this is not the first person in history that has done things in the name of their gods, deities, and what would you call her? 'Cause was she a deity or more of like just a revered
Uh,
royal figure?
like just a princess, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like doing something in the name of King Tut
Right,
or, something else. Like, is it right? Maybe, you shouldn't make people sick for that. But again, not the first person in history doing some kind of worthy crusade cause for what you think is,
right.
righteous. So,
Doing the wrong thing for their version of the right reason.
for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, we've got him trying to keep people out of this pyramid because the princess named Kala, her tomb is there. And so, he's like, I tried, guys, but now I got to actually kill you.
Mm-hmm. And he would have gotten away with it if it weren't for those meddling kids. This guy feels kind of like a Scooby-Doo villain, right?
I feel like Scooby-Doo is giggling in the corner somewhere.
Yeah, right.
So he goes to kill the kids, but lo and behold, Ben finally appears and, is the responsible adult figure.
Yep.
He's supposed to be to stop him, but of course he gets knocked out pretty quickly. As one does.
Yeah.
3 against 1, and yet somehow, bad guy's still winning.
He was taken out by the plot device.
Bum, bum, bum. So, gets hit.
Mm-hmm.
They all get because it's like there's a tar pit in the room too, right?
I think so. There's some
So
sort of
they're
pit.
in this sacred chamber that's also the mummification room, and also there's a tar pit. I feel like there's a lot going on in this room. I'm not sure if R.L. Stine actually researched the setup of pyramids and tombs and chambers, because I'm pretty sure there wasn't a catch-all room. But hey, we'll roll with it. Most
Right.
of us don't know we don't have the blueprints to pyramids in over here. So well, yeah, sure. We'll go with it.
Right.
Princess Kala's pyramid had a mummification sacred chamber tar pit room. Got it.
Right. And yeah, it was a tar pit room because it started burning. Right?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Because he sets it on fire. He throws the torch into it.
That's right. Yes. That's right.
And so, he's like, I got to create ambiance, guys. Like, boom. As a villain does.
Of course. Yeah. It's Scar and Lion King. Lightning strike.
I actually was thinking about Jafar or Scar. They're very similar. But I was like, Jafar's entered the room. He's got the tar pit lit up. We're good. We're going.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a barbecue today. In honor of Princess Kala.
And Uncle Benbecue.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Kala. Now, lucky for us, lucky how convenient, there's an escape hatch in the sarcophagus. Because, he's shoved them into 2 separate sarcophagi? Is that what it would be?
Sarcophagus? Yeah, sarcophagi.
Sarcophagi. And so, because you got to separate the kids from the adults, but apparently there's an escape hatch the Egyptians built in. And I'm not sure if that's valid. Is that?
I think you would have a better idea than I do.
I don't recall ever reading that, but again, I didn't go to school for it, so perhaps there is.
But what would be the purpose of that if the reason is to trap someone forever?
I mean, what was their reason? They said it allows the souls of the deceased to escape. Supposedly.
Oh, gotcha. That's, yeah.
But I'm not sure that's actually real. I'm going to be honest. I have never heard that. I've never read that. I'm doing a quick Google just to see, because when in doubt, us the Google.
Yes.
And it's not popping up. I'm not sure how legit that is. I think RL got a little creative licensing in there, which is fine. This is a book of fiction. This is not a historical fiction. Right. This is a fiction. So you know what? Roll with it. Escape hatch for the souls. Got it.
Yes. This is a fiction. I like
Only
that.
in the world of Goosebumps. Yeah. This is just fiction. So creative license occurred here, and that's how Uncle Ben was able to get out of one to get to the other, because apparently the tunnels connect. Or no, actually, he probably just crawled behind. How Ahmed didn't see that, I have no idea.
Right.
See him like crouch crawling from one to the other. But,
yeah, you would think so, but maybe Ahmed was just staring at the fire, thinking about his life choices.
In a trance, thinking about his life choices. He's like, I won, barbecue time.
But I just killed 2 kids. It's got to weigh on you.
But I just killed. I'm killing everybody. Yeah. So Ahmed goes to like stab them once he figures out they've gotten out the way the souls do.
Mm-hmm.
And, as one does. And he's like, well, fine, screw it. Now I'm going to make you walk the plank. You're going into the tar pit like the dinosaurs. Look what I did there. I took it back to the beginning.
I love it.
Here we are, full circle.
Now I relate. Yes, so they're in the tar pit, and one thing I don't think we've mentioned yet is Gabe has this little mummy hand that he picked up. Yeah. Seems like a souvenir or gift shop trinket.
The summoner.
Yes.
He got it at a garage sale. I love at the beginning they referenced that. He's like, yeah, I got it at a garage sale because that's where one finds, summoning tools at garage sales.
Of course,
it's legit.
Yeah. Presumably in America.
I mean, people find $1 million art pieces at thrift shops, so why not? Let's roll with it.
That is
summoning
true.
Tool.
You raise a good point. But yeah, so Gabe pulls this out for some reason, and our boy recognizes
it's supposed to be good luck.
Yes.
He's like, I'm about to die the way of the dinosaurs.
Yes.
So
let me summon some good luck.
Help me.
Help me, tiny hand.
Mama, help me. Take my strong hand. So he pulls it out.
Yep.
That's what she said.
And Ahmed recognizes it.
Uh-oh. Somehow it's the hand of the priestess. She had a little hand.
Yeah.
But what happens? What happens when he pulls it out? Not in the world of R.L. Stine. Okay, so...
All right.
Oh, God.
Let's take that again.
I'm not taking it back.
Don't.
What happens
I'm leaving it
when the summoner is revealed?
So, whenever he pulls it out, all of the mummies in the room come to life and start to surround him. And the mummies grab Ahmed, and then in classic Disney villain fashion, they just throw him in the fire.
No, they don't. They
don't.
Go to throw him in.
That's right.
Because R.L. Stine isn't allowed to go that far.
That's right. That was the original ending.
That was the original one. Before, schools got a hold of him and they're like, we will burn your books.
Right.
Yeah, because Gabe is the one summoning, he's able to direct the mummies to take on Med because they're going to protect whoever's holding the little hand.
Right. And
one assumes because there is a moment where they look away, they hear him screaming that like the mummies threw him in. But then RL can't, he's like, he holds it just long enough so that you think, uh-oh, he died. I can't believe RL went that far.
Yeah.
And then he's like, just kidding, guys. And, next scene is Ahmed running down the hall.
Right. So Ahmed gets away. The kids go back to their hotel room with Uncle Ben, thankfully. And some more prankery ensues. Is that a word?
Prankery? Yeah, I'll go with it. Let's do it. We verbalized it.
Well, I guess not technically pranking, but he pulls the mummy hand out to summon the spirits again, and they hear on the door. I need to give our sound guy a promotion. And yeah, mummies totally do shave and a haircut.
Of course they do.
So he hears a knock on the door. He assumes it's a mummy, but who is it? It's his mummy and daddy.
It's his mummy. It's his mummy. It is his mummy.
And his daddy. And everyone ends happily ever after.
Now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think they told their parents, or he told his parents about what happened? Like, do you think Uncle Ben was like, "Let's open a bottle of wine. We're gonna need about 5. I gotta tell you about all the crazy stuff that just happened over the last 48 hours."
I don't know. Uncle Ben's like, I want this kid to be able to stay with me again.
But does he?
Good point. Maybe
I
not.
mean,
Maybe
these
not.
two kids got together and got Uncle Ben almost killed.
That's true.
Like, he almost got, well, he got hit over the head with a torch. He got put into a sarcophagus, which Ben probably low-key loved, to be honest,
Yeah.
and then almost got stabbed and thrown in a tar pit. So
Yeah, maybe
I
not.
don't know if he wants to chill with Gabe anymore. Like, Gabe, your mummy ham might be lucky, but you're a cursed kid.
It's true.
Curse
Yeah.
of the Mummy's Tomb or Curse of Gabe?
I don't think that second one's going to sell as well.
I mean, I don't know.
Could. But
I was kind of hoping we'd see Kala, like that the mummy hand would summon her.
yeah, I felt like the supernatural in this was very sparse, like weirdly so. This was much more of like an action adventure kind of story.
Yeah, you didn't really get the supernatural until the very end, and it was just a brief moment.
Mm-hmm. Maybe one chapter.
The real horror was like, crazy psycho adult.
Right. Which kind of tracks for R.L. Stine, but
It tracks. But in this book, everybody was a bully.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's a weird one. So did you like this one?
I mean, it was fun. To me, it was, like you said, more of an adventure tale. Not really. To me, it wasn't very spooky. It was just adventure with maybe a little bit of tension in the moments of, like, the pranks. So in terms of, like, liking it in vein of, like, a spooky story, not really. It didn't feel spooky to me. It did feel just like a good, fun little adventure book.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I liked it in general. I felt like the characters were obnoxious, which is probably why I rooted for Ahmed a little more than I probably should have.
Honestly, same. Like I was kind of hoping that Ahmed would be the hero at the end of the book, but I knew that wouldn't happen.
I'm like, you do what you gotta do, Ahmed. Throw him into the tar pit.
Right.
But, it didn't work out that way. I was, a little disappointed.
I feel weird about this one because I don't know. I feel like I was sold a false bill of goods on it, right? Like it's not really. I mean, technically, yes, it is the Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, sort of, but it's also not. I don't know. Curse of Gabe is a better story title.
Yeah, because it really wasn't a curse. Ahmed was the one making the workers sick. There wasn't an actual curse.
Yeah.
Because even the summoning hand, that was more of, I summoned something to help get us out of this. It was more of like a save the day. It wasn't really a curse.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't really see a curse. Like you said, Curse of Gabe.
Yeah.
Everywhere he went, bad stuff happened. But you can't even go to the museum without getting abducted. Like Gabe is just not good news.
Yeah. Bad news, Gabe. For sure.
Bad news, Gabe. So I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. I loved that it was tied to the Egyptian stuff. The fact that R.L. Stine kind of took creative licensing with the Egyptian lore. No, not necessarily my favorite, but you know what? Have fun with it. Make it a plot device, whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
I did like the tar pit. I liked the way the mummies reanimated, even if for just a moment. I kind of wish someone had been thrown into the tar pit, but you can't win them all.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I like the whole chase sequence. That was really fun. But there was a lot of time where like I was not invested in this story. So I of all of them, I can easily say this is my least favorite.
I was just waiting for R.L. Stine to wrap it up. Oh, I had to.
You did
I
great.
had to.
You did great.
But really, I was.
Yeah.
I was ready for it to be over. And that's a wrap.
Yep.
But I'm sure kids enjoy it. Like, it can't all be super, super paranormal, spooky, monster creature fest. And so maybe in this one, the horror was the adults being negligent and child kidnapping, endangerment. Like maybe just that's what this one was, but
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
knows?
I just wish I hadn't sort of had a false lead into it. Like I thought there was going to be mummies galore. But
Hell yeah, I thought there was going to be mummies roaming the hallway.
yeah, that would be cool. That would have been fun. Mummies hanging out at the hotel swimming pool.
He held back. I do feel like he held back.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder why for this one, but
Maybe because it was starting the year. This book was released in January of what, 93? Was
yeah.
it 93?
Yeah.
So maybe it was just something to start the year, something fun to kind of go around the Christmas time theme. You don't want to go too hard, maybe in conjunction with Christmas. I have no idea. Maybe too many people complained.
Yeah.
And so they're like, show responsible parents, show good choices. And it's like, no.
Right.
Uncle Ben still sucks. Didn't wear the dad hat well.
No. But he wore the archaeologist, scientist, spy, spaceman, astronaut, doctor,
astronaut. He was spacey, all right.
He was
spaced out on keeping track of the kids. So, if you're reading the series, read it. Don't skip it. It's fine. It's not one that's awful that I would say don't read it, but definitely not a favorite. Not even like, I think as a kid, I liked it more just because it's like, ooh, Egyptians, ooh, mummies, pyramids. But now as an adult looking at the actual storyline and not being like squirreled by the misdirection of the Egyptian background, I'm like, oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I didn't read this one as a kid, so this was my first exposure to it. So as an adult,
wow. Womp womp.
Womp womp. But
womp womp.
Yeah, and there's no TV episode for this one, so none of that.
And this was one where this is one of the few books where it was actually one of the longer ones.
Yes.
So it was like 132 pages, and it didn't need to be.
I felt those additional pages so hard.
I felt them. So there we are.
Yeah.
Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. Take it or leave it.
That's
a wrap.
Yes. The next book is Let's Get Invisible.
So Let's Get Invisible, which is book number 6 of Goosebumps. So yay.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to that. Do you have any last thoughts on Curse of the Mummy's Tomb before we wrap it up? I'm never letting this go.
No, I don't think so. I'm curious to see, because there is a sequel to this somewhere down the line of books, and I'm curious to see if Ahmed comes back or if any of the if Bad Luck Gabe is the primary character again, or what it means. But time will tell for that one. So, am I excited about it? Only if they give us more mummies. How about you?
They have me at Egyptian. So we'll see. Unless it takes place here, in which case we don't have mummies here. Actually, we do in museums. So
that's kind of what I expected this story to be, like a mummy in a museum or something, like haunting the kids.
That would have been cool. Maybe that's where it goes. We'll see. Although, fun fact, if you ever go to the Denver Museum, they have a digital rendering of the inside of a mummy's tomb. They took the mummy's tomb into the hospital nearby and used ultrasound and MRI and CAT scan equipment to break it down layer by layer by layer, all the way down to the mummy's bones. So you can use the computer touchscreen system. It's like a big flat screen to look at the mummy's muscles, the bones, the tissue layers, the wraps, the everything. Like it's really interactive and really cool, and just take it apart piece by piece. So
that's super
cool.
You
ever get a chance? Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, I know where I'm going. Mummy exhibit.
Yay! All right. Are we ready to wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up.
Because safety is important. Sorry. All right. Here we go. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to Listeners Beware, a podcast about all things Goosebumps. Are you looking for more spooky podcast content? Check out 3 Haunted Podcast, where Ashley and friends talk about all things to give you goosebumps.
And if you're looking for things that aren't quite as spooky but are very nostalgic, check me out at the Wax Nostalgic Network.
Check him out.
And check her out.
Don't they?
Mm.
This is audio. Join us in 2 weeks for Let's Get Invisible. Until then, I'm Ashley.
And I'm Gary.
Until next time.
Today we are talking about book number 4. Fuck. Book number fuck.
Book number fuck.
Book number
5?
Yeah, book number 5. One thing I don't think we've mentioned yet is Gabe.
Who's Dave?
Dave, my brother-in-law. Gabe has, he's in this book also. No.
Sweet. So I got a question for you.
Yes.
Where do mummies go swimming?
I don't know.
In the Dead Sea.
Oh.
But
I like it.
What kind of music do mummies listen to?
I don't know.
Rap music.
Oh, damn, the one I didn't think of. I was like rock and roll because they're like rolled up.
Roll them up. I don't know.
Weirdly, my mind went to disco for some reason.
Mummies like to get loose. Ah!
Oh, nice. On the dance floor.
Well, speaking of mummies getting loose, why was the mummy so tense?
Because he was wrapped up too tight.
He was all wound up.
All wound up. Ah, that was close.
Look at us. You were very close. I'll give you that one.
I was in the neighborhood. Got any more?
So, I mean, I've got a ton.
I'm sure you do. We'll save them for our next foray into mummydom.
I just, given this book, I had to give you a few of those just to bring something positive.
Tasty little pregnant pause. But
that you should never use the word tasty and pregnant in the same sentence.
I regret everything. Just a nice pregnant pause.
Nice and pregnant. Got it. The pause was nice and pregnant.
You know what?
But not tasty.
Not tasty. No, that'd be weird.